Hey guys, it's Brian with Elion Design Solutions. This is part 2 of our basic 3D modeling in Autocad. We left off before here messing with the Helix. That was the last thing we drew in. And we got all these basic shapes down here keyed in. And if you guys didn't get a chance to watch that, feel free to go to the first video we did on this where we created this. Should be the first installment on the 3D series that I did, and those were all generated down here using these, and those were under, again, they were under the modeling tab. And to help out, if you guys want to help follow along, make sure you have these toolbars that I'm utilizing up and running. I know you can keystroke command some of these, but I just find it easier using the icons. And then this would be your view tab, and then this would be your what do we call this again? This was your visual styles. Now we're going to get into some of these other tabs in a little bit, and for instance your dimension tab. That's a pretty important one actually in the 3D modeling. It helps you move things without getting it thrown way out in the space, even though you think you're drawing in the same plane, XYZ plane. Sometimes you're not. In theory you could be drawing 600 feet into the drawing and you don't really realize it. But let's get going. So first thing we can do here, we can take some of these and we can modify the geometry really quick just with just a click of a couple buttons. So one thing I failed to mention earlier in the last video was what you could do if you guys were wanting to look at different views. If you hold down without utilizing these in your views toolbar, you can actually hold down shift and then your middle mouse button and then rotate them, pull the mouse, and you can actually look around a whole lot easier. Look under it and around it. So that way if I do that, and again you guys pay attention to the command line, if I neglect to mention something you should be able to go back and see what I keyed in. So first thing we can do is a neat little trick that I learned is if you hold down the control button after selecting your object, you can actually push and pull the actual sides without having to recreate another shape. Well, and I'll show you what I mean. So if we select our object and then hold on your control and then select the face, see how that pops up? And you can actually even do the top, see there? So what we can do is hold down this face, now red dot with your axis, your XYZ axis, and you can pull that bad boy up like that. And if we wanted to, we could select again. Now it's a left click select, control button, and we can pull it down. Real easy to modify. And we could have done that on any side. Again, shift and middle mouse button rotating. And we could have done that on any face, even the bottom. We could have done that on the bottom if you needed to. Again, that goes with this guys right here. You know, you just control, left click select, control, and just drag that guy up. Now this one seems to be acting kind of funny. It's pulling the bottom up with it, but I guess that's just the functionality of this particular shape. You should be able to pull this out. See, I guess these are all kind of connected there, but so what happens with this one when we do that? If we click that one and we actually, I'm not sure if you can do this particular. Oh, wait a minute, because I got that one selected too. So let's select this one, control click, and I don't see anything. Look for my, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that one. Some of these you can, some you can't. Like, I'm not sure if you'd be able to do this one either. Yeah, I don't think you can. Now when they're meshes, because these are actually solids, not meshes. Meshes you can you have a little bit more flexibility there. Now this one will be able to do it because there's a flat surface. And there you go, up and down. Torus, I don't think so, but you can move these things using just clicking the actual whatever axis you want to move it on, or you can just type in M for move, enter, or M for move, then enter, or space bar, or right click. I have my right click customization set up to where you can do that, and then we can window around it. Right click for enter, and then you can move it. Now my ortho is on. See how it's snapping very straight points. F8 is your ortho. You turn that ortho off, and I can move that guy anywhere. But we're going to leave him right there for right now. This guy right here, your pyramid, again, your control click. Let's see what happens here. I'm not quite sure. Sometimes, yeah, see, it does modify it. Kind of a weird kind of deal there. Now, if this was mesh, you could actually pick the intersecting points here in your vertices and change things really quickly. But we're not really going to get into any mesh stuff today. Maybe little down the road. And I don't really do a lot of stuff with meshes. That's something I'm kind of getting into now. But and then let's look at this Helix, this little guy right here. Let's do the bottom one. See if we can choose it, left click, control click, see what happens. Oh, look at that. It actually follows that's pretty neat, you know. It actually follows the path there. It kind of still follows the circle path that we created. That's neat. So one of the other things we can do, guys, with modifying solids is you can actually say, well, what if I want to turn this into like a box kind of deal here, and I want to have like a hole inside of this box. Well, what we could do is we could take a sphere, we could draw a sphere, and then with that sphere we can place it inside of here and then subtract out the volume of the sphere from the actual cube, and then we would get a new shape. And for instance, what I'll do is I can copy these guys down. So it's CO in my case for copy. That's what I have my alias set up to. Enter. We're going to copy this guy. Copy this guy. Let's just copy him down. And enter, and then drag. Let's turn my ortho on, F8. Turn that down. And now we're going to look at it head on, or front view. So now we've got a straight front view. Now what we're going to do is use our dimension, and we're going to snap from the center point to the center point, or center point to midpoint in this case. And then what we can do is do not grab the geometry when you move stuff, because you don't know where about it you're grabbing. Grab the dimension line, because it's on a flat plane. That's why it's an important tool in your 3D modeling. So we're going to move it, M, enter, and then move it to there, to the perpendicular. Okay, cool deal. Now we can look at it from the side. You can see it's not quite centered. So again, let's turn this guy on so we can see through it. Ah, nice. So again, we will snap to the, see how it's pulling it automatically pulls the center. You don't even have to click on it. So there, center point to the midpoint. Again, we'll move, M, enter, select that circle to there. Nice. And then what you can do, since we know it's centered up now because we moved it about the two of the axes, we know it's in there good. It's as centered as it's going to get. We can move this guy up. Right? So it looks like it's still a little bit big. So what we can do, and I just moved that up to where there was no particular number. So you can actually scale it down a little bit. So SC, enter, select where that's kind of highlighted. Oh, and real quick, guys, to help you out, just in case that you might want to do this, select your geometry, and whenever you're in your 2D wireframe, which we are here, you can actually change your color or your layer or whatever you want to do to something different, and it'll really help you whenever you're see how sometimes you're not quite sure what lines what. Now we know the magenta color is the sphere, the white is the box. So but when you go to your shaded, it actually is a little bit different. So but we'll go back to wireframe. So we'll scale SC here. Now let's pick the center point there, and let's just type a fraction of, say, something like 0.75 just to get it inside. Let's see what that did. Nice. Okay, we can move it up a little bit more if we want. Alright, so now she's in there. Now what I like to do, because if you subtract out this sphere from this cube, the inside of the cube is going to be magenta color. So I always like to match the properties. MA, enter, select your box, and then select the cube or sphere. There you go. So now they're both the same. Okay. So now what we can do to get that dip in there, we can subtract SUB. You see subtract automatically pops up. Just hit the enter button. This is our main object, so this is the one we want to keep. And then you select enter, and then you select the object that you want to take away. Left click again, and there you go. Now you've got this nice little bowl looking thing here. Now you could have done that with any one of these shapes. So zoomed out a little bit. For instance, if we wanted to, let's get crazy with it. If you wanted to, I don't know, we could take, and if you want to add a shape to it, so we can let's just copy this instead of redrawing it. We can say we can copy this cone. Copy it about the center point, place it here on the center point. A top center point is the top of the thing, and if for whatever reason you wanted these two guys to be one object, you could type in UNION, that's union, enter, just highlight both of them, and there you go. Now it's all one object. And a good example of that would be when you are applying materials to something and you wanted all of these to be one object. Now you can still click the object, select with your control, and you can still, well, I'm making a liar of myself. There you go. Looks like you're limited to, there it goes. You can pull it out to the boundary of where that cone is, so you can still quickly on the fly change things. Again, guys, thanks for watching, and check me out and on other videos coming up, and we'll discuss how to do more additional 3D geometry. And these next ones, I believe we're going to start with some 2D wireframe standard shapes, and then we're going to extrude those shapes, and they can uber custom shapes in those. That way we can you can trace over something and then turn it into something into 3D, which is kind of cool. But again, thanks for watching. Check me out, give me a thumbs up, and I look forward to hearing from you with any comments. Thanks.